Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfmann.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Ofner.
It's Marc-Andreas Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the Gametolove Podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully. Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It's the live draw for Roland Garros. That is right. Can't wait for this one. Unfortunately, no Rafael Nadal this year on the men's side, but it does open up the doors for everybody else to maybe get a crack at one of their first Grand Slams, or maybe even Djokovic for a 23rd. On the women's side, it's going to be super exciting too. We have Iga Swiatek. She's going to be going for it again, the reigning champion. But there's other people who are competitive as well. We got Rybakina. She has suddenly come through and won a clay court title. And obviously Sabalenka, super dangerous too. JG is here and he is there on holiday. And he's, well, somehow got the Wi-Fi working and he has joined us here today. How are you, sir?
Yeah, from the hotel room. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I couldn't miss this big moment. It is the Roland Garros live draw 2023. I've just about got over the fact that Rafael Nadal's not there. And when I say just about, it's going to be tough. Watching a Roland Garros without him is something I've never seen in pretty much my lifetime of watching tennis.
Yeah.
And I think it's an open draw. I think there could be a surprise champion. It may not be the Djokovic Alcaraz we think it's going to be. We could look at a first-time Grand Slam champion, whether that's Holger Rune, a Yannick Sinner. There's plenty of different candidates who it could be.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited to see how this draw plays out. Of course, we do know the big seeds in Alcaraz and Djokovic. They're going to be the other sides of the draw. Medvedev at the moment, after winning Rome, he can now play on clay. I've seen on the bookmakers, he's jumped about 6 places already. So, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating draw. Thank you for so many of you for joining us already. If you haven't already, smash that like button. It's a big day on Game to Love.
Come
on.
on.
Get as many likes and subscribers as possible. And we're going to take you through, step by step, the draw, giving our thoughts on all of the players and the potential routes through.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it is in the preliminary stages of the draw at the moment. They're standing there just taking you through probably some of the history. Got some famous players there. Amelie Mauresmo. You can see people like that sitting at the front. And I'm interested to see who's coming up first as well. I don't know if it's the men's or the women's, but we have had news that Paula Badoza has withdrawn from the competition today. So that does affect the seedings on the women's side. She was number 29th seed. She will now move out. That means Zhang, Sestaya, Bauskova, they all move up one. And that means somebody else can move into the seedings now. But I'm interested to know who that is. I've literally been running around like crazy this morning. I haven't had a chance to see who it is. If you know who it is already, let us know in the live chat. But otherwise, we'll wait for the draw and we will see.
Yeah, I mean, what are you, who are you worried about? I know you're a big Djokovic fan. It's a good opportunity for him now to get to go one in front in the slam race. Who's the player you want him to avoid the most?
Well, I think most Djokovic fans, from the general consensus, is we want to be on the other side of the draw to Alcaraz. And that's the key thing, I think, for most Djokovic fans out of there. They don't want to be on that same side to be caught in a semi-final showdown with Alcaraz.
Yeah, but you know that's going to happen, Ben, because they're 1 and 2.
No, they're 1 and 3. Djokovic is
1 and
3rd
3.
seed. Medvedev is the 2nd seed now. So
okay,
Djokovic can meet Alcaraz in a semi-final, potentially, if the draw favours, well, it's going to favour Medvedev if that happens.
Who does he want to avoid in terms of an unseeded player or one of the lower ranked ones?
Well, one of the lower ranked ones, I'd say there's people out there who you don't really want to face. People like Sasha Zverev. I mean, who knows if he turns up? He's down there in what, about 22nd seed, something like that. There's loads of good players on in this draw, but there's part of me that just feels that Djokovic, the early rounds, he normally picks up momentum. And that's the one thing that I'll be looking for in this tournament. Again, we can all look at Rome. We can all look at the fact that he did lose, but he still looked good in some matches. I feel like he didn't look his best. He wasn't serving that great. As soon as that serve changes into like an ace machine, I think everybody who's a Djokovic fan will be more confident out there in him going a lot deeper and even potentially winning number 23.
Yeah, we've got Abby here saying, all I want is either Sinner or Runa to be in Alcaraz's quarter. Let's see if it happens.
I would love that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think that's the one that everybody's looking towards. The young guns going up against each other on the men's side. Alcaraz is going to have some amazing rivals in Sinner and Holger Rune. Yannick Sinner, they've already had so many epic matches. Holger Rune, we haven't really seen it, especially on the clay. I really want to see that matchup, and I really want to see those two go head-to-head because Rune looks like he's overtaking Sinner and maybe the main competitor for Alcaraz moving forward in this like sort of new big three era.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Just in this interval, we're waiting for the draw to be released. I believe it's happening on YouTube right now. We're going to take you through all of the matchups and the big, of course, the predicted quarterfinals as well, which everyone's keen to see. Before we do, can you just take us through, Ben, some of the seeds? Because I missed the video and I didn't get a chance to watch it just before. So let's maybe go through some of the men's seeds if you've got them.
Sure, yeah. So number 1, we've got Carlos Alcaraz. Number 2, Daniil Medvedev. We've got 3, Djokovic. 4, Casper Ruud. And then we move to the next section of 4. We got Tsitsipas at 5, Rune at 6, Rublev at 7. We got Yannick Sinner at 8. So that makes up the next 4. And then we go into the next section, which will be like 9 to 16. We got Fritz at 9, Felix at 10, Khachanov at 11, Tiafoe at 12, Hurkacz 13, Norrie 14, Coric 15, and Tommy Paul making up number 16 there as well. So that's quite an interesting next group. And then we've got Musetti 17, ADM at 18, Batista Agut 19. Some of these are like people you wouldn't really mind playing, I don't think. They're not in good form. Alex, where else? Dan Evans at 20, another one. Jan-Lennard Struff moved up. Now he's into the seeds. He's number 21. So we've got Zverev 22, Cerundolo 23, Korda at 24. I mean, he's been out injured, and we're never going to know how well he's going to play. But
Korda's someone. Let's look back. He played. Was it Rafa last year? Put up a good test. I think he's a player who can do well at Roland Garros, and he may be one. I wouldn't write him off. He's a young kid. He's had a lot of injury problems this year. He's not played on tour very much. But if he is to play more, I think he's going to be a potential future Grand Slam champion because he's got a really good game.
Yeah, mate. I'm just 1 sec. I'm just listening. I've noticed that they've removed the men's trophy from the top, so that gives me an idea that the women's is probably going to be coming first. And they're just mentioning Paula Badoza withdrawal, and is that Jennifer Brady as well? I think they're mentioning there.
I mean, not really a loss. I forgot she played.
Yeah, well, I think she was in on a protected ranking anyway. But
I don't know if you saw on the men's, we have Garin who's pulled out.
Ah, you're joking.
No, I mean, it was 18 hours ago. It's not like a recent thing.
I had him as one of my dangerous unseeded players to watch. But
when did you do that?
That was on the one where we did the seeds. No, just the seeds. Our big seeding video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to watch that still. But yeah, Garin's out. We also had Carl Edmund pull out and Sardi today.
Wow, all big challenges for the ties.
Yeah, 2 massive losses there for the event, Sardi and Edmund.
Oh, hang on.
And there'll be 2 lucky losers in.
So I don't know if we want to go over to our other look. I think they're going to be going through the women's first. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. I've tried to put together something special for this one. It's the first time on GTL that we're going to be doing this. Hopefully, hopefully this works well. I'm going to try my best though for all of you. I've got all the quarters. I've done it in quarters, so we're going to look into each one, and then as they get put into the draw, then we will add them into our draw as well. So then we can have something nice that we can put in. Right, here we go. Right, okay. Let me just share this screen. Right.
Ooh,
So this is what it will look like.
this is fancy. I can't see me, but
Oh, hang on. I've cut you out. There you go.
there we go. I'm back.
Try and have a look at some of the players that have been added in. Right. So I'm going to have to go in and add some of these in. So it looks like we've got Buxa going in there. Right. So I'm
What's that against Iga? So Iga Buxa. That's quite tough, but I guess it's all going to be at this rate, this stage, the Grand Slam.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect them to like plow through them so quick, but it's fine. Wow. So I'm just going to speak about the ones that they're showing at the moment. We've got like Peterson, you got Sorenko in that section as well. Now they're moving down. I mean, I don't know if you can see the draw as well at the same time.
I'm trying to, but I've not got much access. I followed you on Twitter from another account where I can send you stuff, but you're going to have to accept me so I can send it.
Oh my word, that sounds a bit like crazy. Sounds all
I'm
a
just
little
reading
bit.
it as it goes. So yeah, the big one, Iga versus Buxa. So Buxa, Spanish player. I mean, I think Iga's. Who am I really worried about? Ultimately, it's only Rybakina. I feel that is the only player what's been getting the better of Iga. Aside from that, she's really got the upper hand against everyone else on tour. I think I would be a little bit worried about maybe someone who was a real crowd favourite at Roland Garros. I'm not sure who that's going to be this year because I can't think of any really big French players who are particularly great. I know you've got Garcia, but she's not amazing at Roland Garros. I don't know, but I think if there is a situation where the crowd are really getting behind the opponent, which we know they do at slams, particularly Roland Garros, in a situation like that, it could unnerve Iga a little bit. I think I feel like that's the only really way she's going to get beaten, unless she gets Rybakina early, and that's all I'm looking for here. I'm just trying to work out, is Rybakina going to be avoiding Iga because she is the real dangerous player for her.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're going to put the seeds in second, obviously. That's how it's normally done. It's just a bit of a melee at the moment. I'm going to try and complete the draw as we go down like the first page. If you can keep an eye on the second page, I'm just going to
for sure. We've got Gary in saying, I see Mira Andreeva won today against Osorio.
Yeah.
Remember I said a week ago she might cause some top players a few nightmares. 16 years old, really top player, through in the qualifying, and well, I've got funny feelings she could be part of either me or Ben's qualifiers to watch, and that video is going to be coming very soon as well. We're going to have to be firing out the videos. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
Roland Garros happening very, very soon, but we will be talking about some of the qualifiers on both the men's and the women's who we like the look of, and certainly Mira Andreeva is a good candidate for that.
Amazing. She's knocked out Osorio Serrano, who was the number one qualifying seed. Yeah. Just absolutely incredible.
I like Andreeva.
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing. I mean, she's the future of women's tennis, that's for sure.
Oh, Pavlyuchenkova, Fruhvirtova. That's another big matchup. Pavlyuchenkova, she got to the final here a few years ago. Fruhvirtova, someone who's coming through, young player, that could be good.
Just going down, try and complete these. So, like, this is going to be an
absolute... We've also got Aya Tomjanovic, who's pulled out. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I think that one was already sort of common knowledge, that one, wasn't it?
Okay, so we've got Badoza, Tomjanovic, Brady, and Patricia Tig. The Tig is out. I feel like we're doing a Grand National, like who's falling over the... They're out on fence 2. Tig stumbled just before she jumped.
Well, let's just have a look, just because otherwise I'm going to miss what's even going on with this if I try and complete it all at one go. Just trying to see any like particular big like unseeded players being thrown in there and where they're being placed in this.
Well, there's a big one. Sabalenka. For those who want to know who Sabalenka's got, she's got Marta Kostyuk. Sabalenka, Marta Kostyuk.
Terrible draw.
Yeah, that is a really, really horrible one. And I tell you what is fascinating about this matchup. I don't know if it's fascinating for many good reasons. Sabalenka is not a popular player on tour with the Ukrainian players. There's a lot of tension.
No.
They refuse to shake her hand. I don't know all the ins and outs, so I'm not going to talk too much on that. That is up to them it's their issues they're having. What I would say is it's going to be feisty. There's going to be a lot of incentive for Marta Kostyuk to win. I can see also the crowd really getting behind Kostyuk and maybe going against Sabalenka a little bit. I think Sabalenka is a really likable character. And I never really want to paint her with a bad brush just because of where she's from. I think that's horrible. But it's going to happen, unfortunately. And against Marta Kostyuk, she's going to have a point to prove. She's a good player on her day. Very inconsistent, don't get me wrong. And that's why we've not seen her go for many big titles. But her against Sabalenka, it could be an early banana skin because it's not going to be a very happy match. There won't be a handshake. I can pretty much bank on that. And let's see how it plays out. I'm sure Gary, a little bit nervous about that. We know he's a big Saba fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Saba fan as well. I feel like her personality, we can't just like judge her just based upon where she's from. You have to base her based upon her tennis ability at the end of the day. That's why we're here. We're tennis fans first. We're not going to let politics get in the way of a good tennis player who's now a Grand Slam champion as well. And there's going to be people probably just wanting to just get under her skin a little bit. I feel that that's what we're going to start seeing with some players on tour. Like it's a good reason to get under somebody's skin, and if they can unsettle one of the best players in the world in any way possible, then some people stoop to very, very low tactics to try and do these things. But hopefully she doesn't receive too much. I haven't seen too much of it. It's just some of the Ukrainian players that have been against
she's not popular at all in the dressing room of any Ukrainian players. But yeah, like I said, we'll let you make your own mind up about all of that. The next match I want to talk about, Georgie Cornet. Cornet, someone we spoke to at Wimbledon. She said potentially this could be her last event. I'm not sure if that's still the case. I'd like to see her keep playing. But, Cornet's being the last event. Cornet, that's actually a really good one because she's in France. She is someone who is going to get the French support. Cornet could be someone like we saw last year where she was getting her best ever slam results. I think she never really got past the second round in her whole life. And then last year she just went on a mad one and went deep in a lot of the slams. So Cornet in France, she's someone you want to avoid. Yep. And I mean, one of the big seeds like a Saba or an Iga, they want to keep clear. Coco Gauff won't want to play her. Ons Jabeur certainly wouldn't right now. I'd fancy a bit of Cornet in France over a Jabeur. If she gets a nice little path through, she's a dangerous player who can go quite deep. So she's got Georgie in the first round. Good match, but I fancy Cornet.
I mean, it's a nightmare draw for Georgie because I've put Cornet as my dangerous unseeded player, but it's probably a last ever tournament. So you don't want to be playing against somebody in their last ever tournament, especially in France, in their home nation. I'll be cheering Cornet on all the way. That's the thing. Ever since we spoke to her, I thought she's lovely. I think that she's one of the nicest personalities on the women's tour.
Yeah, and if you can just follow me back on Twitter, Ben, someone followed you, an account, then I can send you some tweets.
Oh, bear with me.
That's the only way I can do it. I didn't get a chance to log in.
All right, just let me...
No worries. While you do that, I'll just take you through some other ones. We've got Pegula Collins, All-American affair. Wow. That looks tough. So by the seeds, I do have the projected women's quarterfinals by seed. So that would be Iga versus Coco Gauff, Rybakina versus Jabeur, Pegula versus Sakari, and Sabalenka Garcia. That is massive. I'll tell you why that is really bad for Iga. This is not a good draw for Iga, by the way, guys, because she's got Rybakina, Jabeur, and Gauff on her section as the top seeded players. So Rybakina, Iga would have to be a semi-final. So if Iga will not be able to avoid Rybakina, unless, of course, she goes out early for the semi-finals. It won't be a final matchup, that one.
Yeah, I can't see where to even accept you on this thing.
No, not accept, just follow back. All you have to do is follow back. If you can drop a DM in there, just send a message or something, then I can start because you're blocked for messaging.
I can't even see you. There's no notification came up or anything.
Okay, well, I was definitely following. So.
All right. Is it my personal account? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, if you could just drop me a message, maybe my message is open. Okay, while you work out that, we know Ben's a little bit slow with technology.
I am very slow.
He's getting old now. People are asking about Krejcikova, Ostapenko. Let me look out for them too, because they are dangerous ones.
Yeah,
I think the whole draw now for the women's is out. That's what I'm hearing. So it looks like all the draw is there. So I'm just interested to see, or if not all the draw, all the seeded players are definitely out there. They're going for it quite quick.
Yeah, it's literally their speed. So Krejcikova has Sabalenka in the first round, in case anyone's wondering. She is in Iga's section, so there could be a potential, maybe even like a third round or something, or fourth round with Krejcikova. Is that right?
Yeah, wow, look at this, Ben, for a matchup. Azarenka, Andreescu, round 1, Roland Garros.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's one we will be covering on the channel, definitely. Let me send you a tweet now, Ben, with the projected quarterfinals. I don't know if you want to get anything up anyway. Probably not, because you've got your own setup here, right?
Don't know. I think I've abandoned that setup now. I'll just use it for posting on social media afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's going to be too difficult to do. So I'll just send you some tweets over of just some good sort of, well, some interesting sections here. So Iga Krejcikova would be a round 4 matchup. So Iga's got it tough. She's got it really tough. You've got Rybakina in her quarter. You've then got, not the quarter, but on her half of the draw. Apologies.
Yeah.
You've then got Krejcikova round 4. So that is in her quarter.
It's nuts.
I mean, this is tough.
That's a bad draw, that's for sure. Not seen anything quite so bad for some time.
If you want to know about the matches for the top 8 seeds, I've just sent them to Ben now as well. So this is what we have. We have Iga versus Buxa. Coco Gauff's got Masarova. Rybakina is going to be playing a qualifier or a lucky loser. Jabeur will be playing Bronzetti. Pegula will have Collins, All-American. We'll have Sakari Mukova. And that is horrible for Sakari. But the one thing I would in her favour is she's very good in the early rounds, as we know.
Yeah.
I think she's a top 3 player, maybe in this event. Early rounds, she can turn it on. She may lose a set, but she's very good, consistent enough to get through matches, I believe. So watch out for her. We then have Garcia, Zizou Wang, Sabalenka versus Kostyuk, one we spoke about. So they are the top 8 seeds, and they are the opponents. Jabeur with Bronzetti, I think that she should be okay.
Yeah.
The only other one I'm worried about, I'm not sure really. I guess this is Sabalenka really with Kostyuk. I don't like that matchup for her because I think it's bigger than tennis, and Kostyuk, when she's on, is dangerous. And I have a funny feeling she's going to be on for that one. She's got a big incentive.
Yeah, massively, mate.
She's playing not just for herself. It's going to be a bit like playing for her country.
Bloody hell. I mean, it's just like literally... I forgot how fast they literally go through these things. It's crazy.
Yeah. So some other big matches I've not spoke about. I said Azarenka Andreescu, which is big. Another one's Lynette versus Leylah Fernandez. We have Svitolina Trevisan. Trevisan, someone who does quite well at this event. So that's not a good draw for Svitolina. Pliskova versus Stevens. Vondrousova versus Parks. So I think that's horrible for Parks because Vondrousova is actually my dark horse from, I think, episode 1 of
it's
the
a terrible draw. Yeah.
I like Vondrousova here at this event. She's got history and she's a pretty good player. If you want to go through, I've got Sabalenka's road to Roland Garros here.
Yeah, ping it over.
That might be a good one to go through. And I think the full draw is out. So here is the full draw. I'll send it to you now, Ben.
We can
go through it.
I've got the Jose Morgado tweet. Do you want me to bring that up?
I've got the full draw I've just sent you.
Okay, cool.
All split by quarter as well.
Even better. How do they do it so quick?
From image to image.
All right, sweet.
I mean, it'd be good if you can tweet it out maybe on the account, but it's up to you.
Well, we'll wait and see.
I think there's a lot going on. I can't do it. Usually I would. I can't.
Right, let me just share. I'm going to take
If
down
you just share it, maybe I'll take you through it, and then we'll go from there. We've got Zach in. How are we doing, Zach? And a ton of blockbuster early matches, real potential banana skins. Okay, my initial reaction to what I've seen so far, very, very tough draw for Iga. I think it's going to be tough for her. I'm looking at players like Ons Jabeur as well. I'm not feeling too optimistic with her being in the section she's in. I think that looks tough.
Yeah.
And then the other big news really is I think we're going to see maybe a lot of early seeds tumble, whether that could be a Sabalenka or some of the other ones as well. There seems to be, I agree with Zach, a lot of early banana skins, and we could be looking at here where we in 2 years ago, where we had a Pavlyuchenkova-Krejcikova final, and I think we had Zidansek also in the semis.
Yep.
We had a real weird array of players, what we wasn't expecting. It could happen again. I wouldn't be surprised we see the 8 quarter-finalists here and maybe only 1 seed. That's my big prediction early doors, having a look at some of this draw. I think we could see some unknown names, or unknown's a bit harsh, but some names which we're not expecting.
Well, seeing that, there's some... We've not mentioned Svitolina there. She's going to have to play Trevisan.
I did mention that.
Oh, you did mention that. She's a former, semi-finalist at Roland Garros?
That's another one who's very good and dangerous, so...
Yeah, so that's a bit scary for her. And we've also got Niemeyer Kasatkina. That one really jumps off the page.
I don't know if you want to go to the first one I sent, Ben. So if you go a left one, we'll start with Iga's section. So here we go. So this is the Iga quarter. So, yep, so from 1 to 32. So we've got Iga right at the top. Right at the bottom, we've got Coco Gauff. Other seeds in there are Krejcikova, Kudermetova, Madison Keys, Kalinina. Azarenka Andreescu's in this section as well. If I'm being totally honest, because Iga's so good, I honestly feel the big first challenge is going to be Krejcikova. She is someone who's proven to beat Iga. She can show that she can beat her. She beat her in Ostrava on the clay. That's horrible. They're 2 champions of Roland Garros as well, so they like the event. But Iga's got a tough draw. You got Coco Gauff in there. Is she not the finalist last year as well?
Last year, last year's
finalist. Iga there. Azarenka, someone we know can win Grand Slam events. This is an absolutely horrible quarter. The only saving grace I would give her is, if you look at some of the unseeded names, I don't rate them at all. Kai Kanepi, brilliant player, but not playing very well this last year. She's not the big danger, which she was, certainly. Peterson, I think, is a good player, but not someone of the level of a lot of these players. And aside from that, I don't really want to mention anyone else because they're not good enough, and I don't see them doing very well. Diane Parry, because she's in France, she's going to get support of the crowd, but I don't see her troubling a Krejcikova or an Iga.
Well, Kalinina, she was just in the final in Rome. She had to pull out through injury. She's been great form as well.
That's true, yeah.
Kudermetova, also in semi-finalist from Rome. People in good form in this section. And like you said, Coco Gauff, last year's finalist as well. So not a very nice section for Iga Swiatek, but she's more than capable of beating all of those players. I think that's the one thing. We all said she had a tough draw. She wasn't playing very well and all of this when the US Open came around. She won that. So I don't think Roland Garros she's going to struggle if there's a tough draw. But let's go to the next section. And this is the Rybakina section.
So this is the second quarter, also on the top half. So we have Rybakina at the top and Ons Jabeur at the bottom. I mentioned that it's tough for Ons Jabeur. Reason being, she's going to have to play Iga most likely, or Krejcikova, one of them ones, the really tough quarter the first time, if she wants to get all the way to a semi-final, which not going to be good at all. Another player in here who I like is Donna Vekic. I like Sestaya as well. I think she's someone who can stay in a rally, and she is very, very tricky at times. She's had a good year as well. She's definitely gone up a few notches. Rybakina, does she even need anything to say about her? No. I would maybe say the most improved player this season so far. She has been a player who I don't want to say we didn't see it coming because I think we did. We both had her very high in the rankings. She's so signed for about 3 years now that she's going to be a top athlete. But now it's come to the forefront, and I think she is a player who can win multiple slams on all surfaces. She won Wimbledon last year. Used to say she can't go deep and win Roland Garros. Iga won't want to play her. I fancy Rybakina now if they ever play on any surface because I think she's got that mental edge over her, and Iga seems to get a bit nervous when she plays her. And that's just how I see it. Unseeded wise, I think there's some better players than what we saw on the last one. We've got Sariba's Tormo. I really like Sariba's Tormo. She's got the ability to do a 4-hour match here at Roland Garros quite easily, and a very gritty opponent. Noskova, one who I had as my qualifier to watch last year. She's straight in the draw, and she's got Kovanic, which is a great first-round match. 2 really good players.
Tough.
And they're both unseeded as well. So Kontaveit as an unseeded player, not in good form at all, but you never know. Anyone else you want to mention?
Alexandrova, she's always a dangerous player in any draw. We've got a Haddad Meyer in there. I feel like there are some good players in there, but let's keep moving on because I know the men's draw is now coming out live. So let's cover the last 2 sections, then we can take you through some of the first rounds of the men's as well. So the next section, is this the Sakkari section or the Pegula section?
It's the Sakkari section. So, it's the Pegula section, but I prefer to call it the Sakkari because I don't think Pegula's can do anything on the clay. Sakkari's got more chance on this surface. And this one, let's have a little look at some of the names. Initially looking at it, not the worst.
Sakkari's first draw, Mukova.
But I mean, it's not the worst in terms of. I mean, it's a very tricky one to call. I think this one. How I would assess the third quarter is I don't know who's going to come out of it. There's a good chance it's going to be an unseeded player. That's what I think. I think Sakkari, of course, is a good player on this surface. She can go well in the early rounds. Samsonova, also good, but hit and miss. Pegula, I don't fancy her chances much. Mertens, don't fancy her chances much. I think she's weak. Potapova, I really like her. She could be one of the seeds who go through. But maybe an unseeded one could come out of this section. I'm not sure who it's going to be. Maybe a Fruhvirtova, a Sharif. I wouldn't be that shocked if it was Sharif.
It'd be exciting.
Like I mentioned at the start, Elise Cornet. This could be Elise Cornet's section.
Well, what a great draw for her. What a great draw for her on her last tournament. So I'm
if it is her last tournament, we're not sure if that's true.
Yeah, I know.
She did say that to us. We're not making any rumours up. She told us that, but.
Well, I can confirm just quickly on the men's one that's come out that Alcaraz and Medvedev, obviously the 1 and 2 seeds, both will face qualifiers in their first match. And should be noted, Aslan Karatsev is a qualifier and potentially from this. So we could get a Medvedev Karatsev first round. Imagine that. Hanfmann is also a qualifier and he's just been to a semi-final in a Masters. No, was it a final? No, semi-final. Yeah. He beat Rublev recently. Lost to who is it? To Medvedev, wasn't it? But anyway,
we're going to get on to the men's very soon. Let's do the last one quickly. So Garcia at the top, Sabalenka at the bottom. We spoke about the Kostyuk-Sabalenka match. It's bigger than tennis, that one. It's going to be tough. And this is where Ostapenko is sitting. I really like Ostapenko's draw here. Kasatkina's dangerous and could do well. The only big name, which is in the white there, Vondrousova.
Yeah.
We've got Vondrousova and Ostapenko floating around in a section where they would probably have to play, what's that, second or third round?
Yeah. I mean, I feel it's open, this one. But out of those two, they're probably looking at that thinking, if I can get past that other one, then I can probably take that entire section and up until maybe Sabalenka. No disrespect to other people. If Saba goes out to somebody else, though, that whole section's up for grabs.
Well, we've got King Wing Zheng in there, Ben.
Yep.
This is where King Wing Zheng is. The number 19 seed from China. A player I really like. And she's a bit like... I tell you what I think her trajectory is going like. It could be like a Rybakina. So a few years ago, we was talking to Rybakina as a really good player who could do some good things. She wasn't really winning enough. She did very well in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But then took a little while to get going. I think the same's going to happen with King Wing Zheng. We're going to be talking about her in 2 to 3 years as a potential candidate to win Grand Slams. That's how I honestly see it going. So who's to say she can't come to the scene a little bit earlier, maybe as a freak
it,
event this year, and then she might not do anything else for the other 2 slams of the year, but she might do well here. You never know. So I think she's a very dangerous player. She's got bags of ability.
Super dangerous, and she's just outside that mini section of Sabalenka. Yeah. She's in the mini Pliskova section, which is probably better. So
definitely, yeah.
So she might be able
to... As Zach's saying, Ostapenko is a great draw. That's true as well. I did mention Ostapenko and Vondrousova. They'll both be rubbing their hands together because they've got the ability to win this whole section.
I feel this top section's maybe up for grabs. I don't think Garcia's in much form at the moment. So I feel like, imagine if Svitolina was to make a little run here. What a story that would be. She comes back and then goes through to like a 4th round or something of Roland Garros. You never know. But
yeah, but anyway, we'll talk about this in more detail in a minute. Let's move on to the men's, because the men's is happening right now. And we have some very, very interesting news coming out. I've just seen a tweet, but it's disappeared now. Oh, that's annoying. But yeah, just from what I've seen, I don't want to butcher it, so I want to make sure it's right. This is the projected Roland Garros men's quarterfinals. We have Alcaraz, Tsitsipas, Rublev, Djokovic, Holger Rune, Casper Ruud, Yannick Sinner, Daniel Medvedev. And this is the big thing we all want to know. Ooh. Alcaraz is on the same side as Novak Djokovic.
Wow.
Alcaraz Djokovic cannot be a final at this year's Roland Garros. Wow. It would have to be a semi-final. On the other side, potentially, we have either Holger Rune, Casper Ruud, Yannick Sinner, or Medvedev making a final. Looking at the seeds, of course. Could be someone who's not one of them 4 names. Yeah. But what I'm looking at there is not even any of the 3 young ones. I'm looking at Daniel Medvedev and thinking, just won Rome. He's got experience. He can play long matches as well. Daniel Medvedev, final of Roland Garros. I mean, he's got to be absolutely thrilled with this draw. All he had to do was avoid Alcaraz and Djokovic, I feel, to have a good shot of getting to a final.
I totally agree with you. That was the one thing that everybody was looking out for. And is Daniel Medvedev going to be one of these people who just sneaks through the entire draw at the bottom? It's a bit like Casper Ruud did last year, to be honest. Didn't have a tough draw, just got really nice. Other players went out before that to play him, stuff like that. And then he finds himself in a final. But I feel like Daniel Medvedev would be a stronger competitor in a final than Casper Ruud, even on clay. I feel the mentality of the guy now, he's won a clay court masters event. Surely he's got to be, I don't know, do we put him as 3rd favourite for the whole thing?
Yeah, I think so.
That's nuts.
I don't know if you want to bring up, Ben, some of the tweets, because I've still got the women's on the screen. I've sent you some good ones. Just so bring up the people at home can have a read. We'll start off with the quarterfinals, which I've just read out. But the big news, if you are just joining us, Alcaraz on the same half of the draw as Novak Djokovic. Here are some notable matches. So we've got Stan Wawrinka versus Ramos, Humbert Manarino, Gasquet Rinderknecht, Monfils Baez, Thiem versus Cashin, Felix Fanini.
Ooh, that's quite a tasty one.
Won't be happy. Benoit Paire, Cam Norrie, Goffin Hurkacz, Corda McDonald, Evans Kokonakis, Sabata Schwartzman, not good for Schwartzman.
No,
and
terrible.
Fils Davidovich Fokina. And I'm glad that's the last one because I think that's the best one. Fils Davidovich. I think it's a 50-50 match. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think they're 2 entertainers on the court. And my money's on Fils.
I wouldn't put it past him. Let me put it that way. I mean, he didn't even have to play his match. What was it, yesterday? Mikael Ymer, I think, didn't he get himself defaulted in that match? So,
yeah. Well, talking about Mikael Ymer, he's going to have Musetti first round. And we've got Sinner, who's got Muller.
Interesting.
I've got an Italian page here just showing all the Italians who they've got.
All the Italians going on. Sounds good, though. I'm excited about some of those matchups that you've just mentioned, though. Like the one that stands off, jumps off the page for me. I don't know why. Benoit Paire against Cam Norrie. Do you reckon they could have an upset there? Paire, he's got the wild card that we all thought he was going to get. And Cam Norrie, sometimes a little bit flaky. Don't know. I think the spectacle, he might play up to the crowd. It might be like one of those sort of like popcorn matches just because Paire's back on. He might get a good court as well for that one.
Well, we've got the full draw, so let's bring it up right now. I've sent it to you. And
All right,
starting with the first quarter, the first image, Carlos Alcaraz, number 1 seed. And in his section, we have Stefanos Tsitsipas. So that is mental, the fact that they are in the same quarter. Have you found it?
Yeah, just dragging it over 1 sec.
Nice.
Here we go. I'll zoom in so you can see, and I'll
Yeah, it's
roll
not
it down.
good layout, I don't think, is the other one.
That's
But
fine.
we do have
can
some
still
other
go
good
through it.
seeds here. So Musetti could be playing Alcaraz early doors. We have Shapovalov. I think that is ridiculous that he's even a seed. He's a terrible player right now, and I don't fancy his chances. Korda in this section. So seeded players, Tsitsipas, Sabata, Korda, Felix, Norrie, Musetti, Shapo, Alcaraz.
Shapo can turn up sometimes.
Musetti, Alcaraz, Korda, all in one quarter with Tsitsipas there. I like that a lot.
I mean, who's to
Not
say?
easily, no.
Cam Norrie's beaten Alcaraz on clay this year as well, should be noted. So Cam Norrie's not somebody you can completely rule out of the picture either. I feel Shapo, is it weird to think that he could potentially just turn up in a certain tournament?
Yeah,
We've seen it.
Weird.
But
I think he's not at it at all. So I think you're crazy to even suggest that.
Well, we've seen stranger things from him. All the way to the bottom. Yuri Vesely Tsitsipas is a terrible draw, surely, for Tsitsipas. Vesely, sometimes a tricky play. He's beaten the likes of Djokovic in recent times. This is a bit of a nuts draw. I mean, Tsitsipas, one of the favourites for the whole entire thing, surely. And
well, he's not anymore, Ben, because let's be honest, Tsitsipas must be looking at this and thinking, I cannot get anywhere near Carlos Alcaraz. I never forget us in Portugal watching the highlights on the telly of an evening. There's about 100 drop shots where Tsitsipas didn't even run for. He's not going to like it. If Alcaraz can get through Musetti or a Norrie, Felix maybe, or Korda, I think the easiest match for him is Tsitsipas. He just seems to have his number, and that matchup's not even competitive. Alcaraz, I believe, if he plays Tsitsipas, the gap to win this quarter, I think he'll win it in straight sets. 3-3-3. That's my prediction.
Too simple. Why is it so simple for him? That's the question.
Know, but let's move on to the next one. So this is Novak Djokovic, and he's got Andrei Rublev, someone who beat him, what was it, last year on the clay?
Yeah, beat him in Serbia.
Yep, in Serbia. So he's got a history of being able to do it. Rublev
Monte
having a
Carlo
great year.
champion.
He's won Monte Carlo this year. He was a player who I said in the countdown was one of my dark horses to win the whole event. And I think people could sleep on Rublev. Djokovic, though, is he going to be too upset with this draw? I look at some of the matches. Khachanov rolls over. I'm sorry, against opposition. So I'm not worried about him. And a lot of these other ones, I think Djokovic will be okay again.
It's a good draw for seeds. I mean, he's got Hurkacz, who's just not been good on clay. Batista Agut's had terrible form right now. I feel like Fokina, probably out of all of them, could probably trouble him the most, which is strange to say. Dan Evans is in there as well. Ben Shell. I think if he could have picked out of all the seeds to have in his section, he probably would have picked a lot of these players that he's got here. Ugo Humbert probably right above some of these seeds at the moment. He's just come off a challenger title win. He's looking quite good again. So,
Ramos, I mean, I don't think it's tough at all this quarter. No. I think he'll be all right to get out of it. Yeah. Evans, Shelton. The only thing's Rublev, Djokovic. I'm pretty certain we're going to get that matchup. And I don't always say that, but I think this is a quarter where we're going to get the two top seeds meet each other in the quarterfinal. That's how I see it going, if I'm totally honest. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Not an easy first match, though, for Rublev, though. He's actually got somebody who's been in quite good form. It's Laszlo Djere. He's actually not a bad player. Very bad player to draw in the first round.
Of course, some good ones, Ben, but you've got Wawrinka, you've got Yibang Wu, Ramos, Vinolas. But this is a Grand Slam. You're always going to get some top players, but I don't see them troubling the likes of a Djokovic or Rublev.
Yeah, next level.
What I look at is matchups. And with them matchups, I think them two will be all right. But that's just my opinion. I think Djokovic is a relatively good draw.
All right, on to the next one. Is this the Holger Rune section or is it somebody else? Casper Ruud section.
Yep.
Right, so Holger Rune starts his campaign against Chris Eubanks. And last year's finalist, Casper Ruud, comes up against a qualifier. And, Jan-Lennard Struff is in this against Jiri Lehecka. Oh, my word, what a first round match.
Well, he's a steep now, Struff.
I know. Lehechka, that's terrible luck for him. I feel like Struff's going to knock him out, unfortunately.
I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I think it's going to be really tight.
Maybe a 5-setter.
There's a 5-setter. I know we're looking at Lehechka,
Wow.
Struff, the 5-setter. I think we could be looking at maybe some other 5-setters as well.
What about this one?
Monfils Baez. I have a feeling that could be 5 sets. I don't know what it is. I think the French crowd getting behind Monfils.
Maybe.
Monfils is always going to be a 5-set in Roland Garros.
What about this man? I mean, it's not good for Holger Rune. Francisco Cerundolo drawn in his section. Although Juan Munar in your first match, Cerundolo, I feel like that's got maybe 5 sets written on that as well.
I don't know. I think Cerundolo's a lot better now. I think he's gone up a few more levels than what we're giving him credit for.
Yeah, possibly.
Rune, Cerundolo. I don't know. I think Rune's going to be really happy actually. I think he's going to be really happy if he's fit and he's playing and he's feeling all right and confident, which we know he is at the moment. Rune, I think, can actually win this section. I fancy him over Arud.
Yeah, I do as well. Not just because he just beat him recently as well. I feel that he just seems like he has just more desire. We've got the American mini section here. We got Mo versus Fritz and Tommy Paul in here as well with Marcus Giron. So all the Americans clumped together in this part of the draw. I don't really give many of them that much of a hope here this Roland Garros, though.
No. Let's move on to the last one.
Oh, one person that I know that you're keen to talk about, Dusan Lajovic. He's in Casper Ruud's section.
Yeah, I saw that, and he's probably the most dangerous white name in there.
Right. Okay. Last but not least, here we go. And we got Yannick Sinner, and he's in the Medvedev section, and Medvedev at the bottom. And be careful what you wish for. Playing a qualifier to kick us off, and like I said previously, the qualifiers are worse than some of these people who are actually in this main draw already. I feel like I look down at the qualifiers, and when you get like the entry into the qualification, you have to be inside the top 110 or something.
Yeah.
Karatsev's at 60 in the world now since that happened. Hanfman's up as well they're pushing on top 50, some of the players who are in the qualification now. So it's a nightmare if you've drawn a qualifier, I think, if you are on the men's side. Who are they going to play, though? There's the other players playing today. We've got Diaz Acosta versus Offner. That's a final qualifying match, and that'll be coming actually tomorrow. That one is kicking off, but the final qualifications will be finished around lunchtime tomorrow, around maybe midday or maybe slightly later. But I'm excited to see who all of these qualifiers are and how they slip into this draw. Downhill, like we spoke about already, Borna Coric may be the biggest threat in his section here. Dominic Thiem, do we consider him a threat at Roland Garros or not really?
Sorry, mate, I missed that.
That's all right. I said Dominic Thiem. Do we consider him a threat at Roland Garros or not really?
No, not at all.
No. Jack Draper. He's
Jack
been playing
Draper
quite well.
as an unseeded, dangerous again.
Bad draw
as well.
Echeverry Draper. That's a brilliant match to kick off.
Yeah.
And what about this? We should speak about him. He's got a wild card in. Hugo Gaston, now the guy with the biggest ever fine in tennis history of $144,000. Go check out the video if you haven't seen it yet. For repeat offending. Is he going to continue doing that during Roland Garros? I mean, normally he does quite well. He's been to the 4th round before at Roland Garros.
Yeah.
Drop shot king. And we got Zverev in this section as well. Sinner, that's not done him many favors, has it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to shoot because I need to check out basically. So I need to go. What I've sent you is the routes for all the top players on the men. So maybe go through them because it's very interesting.
I will.
But what I want to leave on my concluding remarks is this: Alcaraz, Djokovic, same half. Big news. I think Djokovic's going to be a little bit disappointed with that, but he's got a nice quarter. And then someone who's going to be the most happy out of everyone, Daniel Medvedev, Rome champion. Good chance of getting all the way to the final if he pulls it together. He knows how to play on the clay now. I knew he would be able to. I think he's got a good game for it. He's someone who wants to play in the long rallies. And I honestly would be very, very worried about anyone on that bottom half, including all of these names. Yannick Sinner. And the last point I want to say about Sinner is I'm really happy for him that he's finally got a good draw. I think the last few years at Roland Garros, you always get Djokovic or Nadal so early. He's not have to worry about that. But he's got a Daniel Medvedev in a quarterfinal, which is tough, but a one which he would take over, say, one of the top players in terms of a Nadal or a Djokovic. So, yeah, really pleased for him. He's still got to win his matches. Never going to be easy in a Grand Slam, and there's going to be some shocks, more so on the women's. I think we're going to see some really big shocks there. But I'm going to have to go. Daniel Medvedev, I think he's going to be dangerous.
Well, appreciate that. Say thanks, everybody, to JG for that one. Cheers for saving the day with the draw as well. It was always going to be a little bit of a nightmare, me trying to fill everything in such quick succession. But while JG has departed, he's left us with some of the routes, most notably Novak Djokovic's route. Let's have a look through Djokovic's route to potentially win Roland Garros and potentially a 23rd, not a 30th Grand Slam, a 23rd Grand Slam title. So he would have to play Kovacevic first round, potentially Fucsovics in the second round, Davidovich, Fokina round 3. Hurkacz, I'm not too sure about that, to be honest, in round 4. I don't think that Hurkacz will get to round 4, but if he does so, I feel like Djokovic will deal with him pretty easily. I don't see that being much of a problem. Who else is in that little section that could potentially go through? Maybe like, well, I say that there's not that many people in there. Maybe it could have a very interesting person like a Varillas go through, or someone who's slightly lower ranked. Then he'll have Khachanov or Rublev, so pretty much guaranteed a Russian in the quarterfinal, an Alcaraz semi-final, and then finishing off with the potential of Daniel Medvedev, Holger Rune, or Yannick Sinner. And there's no mention of Stefanos Tsitsipas in there, which maybe he's going to be the person that nobody's talking about, and he may sneak through this draw, even, well, like Casper Ruud did last year. We know that Casper Ruud, he sort of had it easy, and he managed to get his way there. This is Daniel Medvedev, and he's sort of playing the role of Casper Ruud for this year. He'll face a qualifier or a lucky loser in the first round. Conton Alice or Guido Pella. I don't think Pella's going to win. I feel that Conton Alice will probably be there. Nishioka or Wolf in round 3. I mean, it doesn't even sound like a tough draw at all whatsoever. Could we not include maybe some other names near it, saying Coric or Dimonor in round 4? I reckon should consider maybe Echeverry or Draper in with that. Coric, though, probably the bigger favourite there. Dimonor, I wouldn't even include him in there. We've got quarterfinal Sinner, Zverev, TFO, Dimitrov. I mean, I'm not sure we're going to see TFO there. Zverev still not back to his best. If he manages to get past Sinner, I'll be really surprised. Dimitrov, I don't expect him to surprise. I feel like Sinner's going to be the odds on there. Semi-final, Casper Ruud, Rune, or Fritz. Not to be disrespectful, we probably can rule Fritz out of that one, I think. I feel that Holger Rune and Ruud probably the stronger of that trio there, but I expect Rune there. And the final, Alcaraz, Djokovic. Oh, look, and Tsitsipas has made it onto this one. Got Yugoslav saying 23 is coming for you now, Ben. Is that what you're supposed to say? Love the 22 Grand Slam song. Appreciate that. Maybe there will be a 23 song coming, but Djokovic is going to have to get through all of these people first. And I'm not saying it's outside the realm of possibility. I'm not saying it's impossible. It looks, for me, up until even potentially maybe the quarterfinal, maybe even the semi-final, it looked pretty plain sailing. Nothing's easy in a slam. Everybody's carrying knocks. Everybody's carrying injuries, that type of thing. But I mean, for Djokovic, he's going to be ecstatic about that draw, isn't he? You've got Gene saying, what do you think of Novak's draw? I think it's brilliant. I'm not going to lie. I said this to Gene offline as well. He was worried about Alcaraz and the potential of a semi-final. And I just had to say to him, he's going to have to beat Alcaraz if it's a final or if it's a semi-final. I don't think it matters. I feel that it's just one of those things. You're going to have to beat the best to be the best. And Alcaraz, we don't even know if he's going to definitely be there. He lost to Marozan in Rome. If somebody plays lights out tennis, and that goes for the same for anybody who's in the seed, that's a Djokovic, that's a Sinner, Tsitsipas. Someone steps on court and plays lights out tennis for 3 sets, any of the big boys could be going home. And it should be noted, Aslan Karatsev, if he gets through his final qualifying match, could be coming for all of you. So let's watch out for him. I can't wait. I'm really hoping Aslan does get through that final qualification. He is he's the top seeded qualifier. He hasn't dropped a set in qualifying yet, but he will be playing his final match of qualifying. I was going to try and see if I could find some of the women's as well. Let's see if I got Iga's route. Let's see if anybody's popped that on there. Iga's route. Let's have a look. We got Zach saying, I can see Alcaraz slipping on the way to the semi-final, but we'll see. What we can be sure of, there will be some big upsets and surprises in some places. Yeah, for sure. He's proved he's not invincible. That's the one thing that we now know is true, is Carlos Alcaraz can be beaten. He was on a winning run. It came to an end. And it happens to everybody. Was it a blessing in disguise, though? Because he did have that. He got that loss maybe the perfect time. So he has the perfect amount of break leading into Roland Garros. And he will be fully fresh. So I don't know. You can look at it in 2 ways, to be honest, that one. I don't think he's going to be mad that having a little bit of a breather. He was on a winning run, but playing all the way to the end of Rome, that may not have done him any sort of favors. Capricorn saying, wait, why is Karatsev playing qualifying if he's higher ranked than Stan? Well, the qualification is decided when the players have their entry ranking, which is 6 weeks before the competition starts. And his ranking 6 weeks ago was not high enough to get into the main draw. So that's why he will be that's why he is in the qualification. The same as Yannick Hanfmann as well. Somebody who's also been doing very well in some very big tournaments in the lead up to Roland Garros. So you have to hope that both of them will be there. Obviously, Karatsev, Madrid semi-finalist as well. I mean, exciting stuff is coming to our TV screens. You don't have long to wait either. It's Sunday. It will be kicking off 10 a.m. in the UK. I think it's 11 a.m. in Paris. And we'll be taking you through all of it. Can't wait. We've got some other stuff coming up on the channel as well, which will be coming up in the next couple of days. We've obviously got the draw preview where we'll be going through who we think is going to win this. That will be done most likely tomorrow evening for men's and women's. And we'll also be doing our regular segment, which is our qualifiers to watch. We'll wait until the qualification is over. We may do that on Saturday. And we'll try and squeeze in one more episode of the countdown. The countdown for Roland Garros. And as promised, this episode of the countdown will be about Novak Djokovic. It has to be, doesn't it? There's only one man who's there who could potentially be holding a record number of Grand Slams come the end of Roland Garros, and that guy is Novak Djokovic. Capricorn saying, Ben, thanks for the info, but then why is Medi a number 2 seed? Well, he's number 2 seed because I believe that they're all locked in. So the top 32 are locked in, and then they can still move around inside the seedings. That's the thing. But those ones are locked. So all the people below a certain thing, they have to have a time and a cutoff. But as they're locked in those seedings, like the 1, 2, and 3 have moved around, but that's just the way it is. They still up to the end of Rome to complete their final seeding. So, yeah, don't worry. It's sometimes hard to get your head round. Sometimes me and JG have both been trying to get our heads around it as well. But, yeah, now we finally do. It's one of those weird rankings discussions. Let me see if there's any more stats out there for the likes of somebody like an Iga, or let's have a look. Because we've spoken about the men's. Let's have a look if there's some for the women's. Have a quick look down there. I mean, I can't see anything off the top of my head. Gene, feel free to ping me something on Discord if you're able to find it. But yeah, I mean, we already went through Iga's draw. Iga has a particularly tough draw. We know that she's going to be playing, well, the who's who, really. Krejcikova, a potential fourth-round opponent for her. She's in the same side of the draw as Rybakina. I think that I'm just going to leave it there. And you can just join us for the actual draw preview tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. There we go. Sort out the look of the whole thing as well. But thanks, everyone who joined. Saved by JG. Praise the Lord that he had his internet there. They whizzed through the draw so quick. I had my best ideas of how I was going to do it, but maybe I know better for next time. Let me know in the comments section if you're watching this on replay. Who do you think is going to win? Who's got the toughest draw? Who's got the easiest draw? And who do you see meeting in the final? I'm excited. Djokovic fans should be excited. I feel that Medvedev fans should be excited as well. Iga fans may be worried. Rybakina fans, I don't think they're worried about anything these days. But yeah, smash a like, subscribe if you're new, and join us for everything Roland Garros. It's going to be coming up thick and fast every single day for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But for now, over and out. Or as I say in France, au revoir.